Hello, everyone, and welcome to Magical Me. I'm Jamie Mendez, spiritual intuitive and oracle, and I'm here with my weekly Moon Day message. And this is going to be a reading for the collective for the week of December 20th, 2021. So, before I really go into further explaining what else you might be able to find here this evening, I'm just going to give it a moment and allow people to connect, okay? Just make sure everybody can hear me. Donna, welcome, gorgeous. You did. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy that you were able to make it. How are you today? And how is the quality of sound, by the way? Can you hear me okay? Make sure all is good. Wonderful. Thank you so much. With that said, just bear with me a moment. I'm going to go ahead and share this to my page. Oh, good to hear. Good to hear. I'm glad. You popped in on a magical one as well. You know, they're all magical because, I'm magical. No, kidding. But I'm actually doing giveaways today if you haven't already seen that. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Jillian, welcome, gorgeous goddess. All about the amethyst tonight. Potent in purple. Oh yes, all about the purple. You know, it's my magic power color. So thank you. All right, if I can find it to share, I will. There we go. All right, got that one. And gonna attempt to do it. Okay, I think I did it. Hi, Eleanor. Welcome, love. Thank you for being here. How are you today? Okay. Let's give it a few more minutes before I really get going. Yeah, so how amazing. Such a powerful week. We've got the solstice tomorrow. Today is Yule Eve or Solstice Eve. And we've got Christmas Eve and Christmas this week for all those who celebrate. I'm like, this is the time where I'm like, besides October, which is my major time of year, but besides that, this is like being a kid in a candy store. I think I get more excited to actually give presents and the excitement of all of the magic that comes along with Christmas than I do to actually like receive anything. So obviously I'm doing some giveaways today. So yeah. And for you both, Jillian and Eleanor, is the quality of sound okay? Just want to make sure. Donna did say it was good on her end, but I just want to make sure it's kind of across the board so I can get going with this. So hot. My goodness. Burn my mouth. Perfect. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead then and just do the intro for anybody who might be new to my page and to this live. I do try to go I try to go live every Monday or so long as I'm able to within divine timing with a special message for the week for all of us. So these are not personal individual readings that I'm doing here today, although I do offer personalized readings. if you are interested in having a reading with me for yourself, you can always private message me and we can go over the fees and the different sorts of readings that I offer, as well as any energetic and distant healing sessions. Do offer those both in person and remote. Readings are all done remotely. So today is actually going to be a reading for the collective and for everybody who finds themselves here, whether it be live or if you are watching on the replay. Even if you're watching on the replay months from now, you're here in exact divine alignment, which means that there's a message that's coming forward that is going to resonate with you at that specific time for what you most need to hear, uniquely to your own personal journey. So I do these readings utilizing my own intuitive abilities, as well as working with oracle cards to bring a message for us to really help us get a better understanding or insight into the energy of the week and what we really can expect. When we have a bit of a heads up, it gives us that ability to flow in divine alignment with the energy, bringing more of a harmonious flow to our own lives versus being really, kind of swimming blindly against the current and perhaps getting tumbled and knocked around along the way because we're trying to, go the opposite way or we're resisting in some way. So that's what these really are intended to be for. With that said, I do also take the opportunity to talk about any major cosmic or astrological alignments going on for this particular week and every particular week that I'm doing the readings for, just to once again give us any awareness as to what is going on in the cosmos that might be assisting us as well. I also work with bringing forward an energy forecast, which again goes in with the cosmic or even sometimes astrological stuff going on. But as a very strong clairsentient or energy sensitive, I do also like to talk about what I might be experiencing and feeling energetically, because this sometimes will actually play into the messages that we're receiving as a collective, and it might help you understand what is going on at the same time. So I'll be doing that first, then I'll go into the Moon Day message, and then after that I do the Mudra for the week, and I'll talk more about what Mudras are when we get there. But I'm also going to be doing some special giveaways today. So today is very special and unique because of the holiday season, because tomorrow is Yule or the Winter Solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere. Simultaneously, in the Southern Hemisphere, it is the summer solstice, also known as Litha at this time. So across the board, we are celebrating the light. And so I will talk a little bit about that. And the giveaways, I'll talk more about how I'm going to be doing them. If you tuned in last week, then it's going to be pretty much almost the same exact situation, and I'll go over what it is that I'll be giving away as well. These are, however, only for the live readings. So anybody watching back on replay, I am sorry. This is again only for live, but I do appreciate you and thank you so much for tuning in on the replay anyway. Hi Dawn, welcome gorgeous. Hi Teresa, welcome. Laura, welcome. Thank you for being here. All right, so we're going to head and get right on into this magic. As we're starting on 444. Once again, I think we did that last week too, didn't I? So magical. All right, so where do I begin? Usually I talk about news and announcements as well. I just don't really have anything to go over as I'm really still working on those 2022 year ahead readings that I was offering back in November. I was so fortunate and blessed to have such a overwhelming response that I am still working through the readings. So those of you who are still waiting on your reading, please do not think that I forgot. I am still working my way through them. The closer that I get to people in line, I actually reach out and give you kind of like a guesstimate as an expected date. Can't speak. As to when you can receive them. Just, the holidays plus, on top of everything else and energy and downloads and this, that, and that. And goodness, life happens, So I'm getting through them as fast and as best as I possibly can. So I greatly appreciate your patience with that. Okay. With that said, there really are no other news and announcements at this time. So I'm going to go right into the energy forecast. So I don't know about all of you, but I have really been feeling a lot of just emotion. Not in and it's not a negative way, although sometimes, it could be like an overwhelm of emotion. What I've been feeling this last couple of days is, remember last week, I think we even received, was it last week or the week before, where we talked about the heart opening, and I went into explaining how with this full moon that happened over the weekend, we were also experiencing the planet Venus going retrograde. And you could tune in to last week's reading that's still available on replay if you want to understand a little bit more about that, because I'm not going to go into that too much. But I will say what I talked about with that, with our heart chakras, and really coming more into ourselves. I'm really experiencing that pretty deeply. And as an energy sensitive, it's almost like being plugged into everybody and everything that's happening, but plugged directly into my heart. So, my heart is like on overload I went to the grocery store, I think, the one day, and I literally felt like I had to get out of there, or at least stay away from people, which is not normally like me, because normally I'm pretty like compassionate and I can kind of handle a lot, and I just do my best to kind of maneuver on through, get to where I gotta go, right? But this time around, it was like I was feeling a lot of emotions. It was almost like my heart was the way that I breathed, if that made sense. And so as I breathed, it was like I was absorbing, or feeling, I should say, more into, because I wasn't absorbing, but I felt like I had an antenna feeling into everybody's emotions around me. Hey, Karen, welcome. Thanks for being here. And that was a lot, because I was going like on an emotional roller coaster within like 5 minutes time, where one second I was feeling like really irritable and aggravated, and the next minute I was just feeling very like kind of very like loopy and kind of out of it, and then the next minute I was feeling like really like overwhelming love and compassion for the person like in line next to me, and just feeling like I just wanted to hug and hold everybody. Just a crazy an array of emotions from within, like I said, the hour that I was there shopping. So I've been feeling incredibly like loving and like happy and kind, and just wanting to share my love, and just wanting to I want to just be helpful and compassionate to everybody. And so you might think, well, what's the problem with that? It can be a little unnerving and unsettling when you feel like you just, want to walk up to a complete stranger and just, wrap your hands around them. You can't do that, right? I mean, we should be able to, but we just can't do that. So, yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. But not only that, then on the flip side of that comes the other heavier emotions. And I've been doing pretty good with those, but I can imagine that there are some people who aren't, where you may really be feeling into the heaviness of what this energy could also be stirring up within our heart, because as our heart is opened and expanded even more, this can really make for the release of whatever was preventing our hearts from being so open and vulnerable to begin with. So with that said, there are going to be some maybe heavier, denser situations, emotions, thoughts that are going to come up to the surface. Whenever you're dealing with Venus, you are always dealing with self-love and dealing with self-image as well, and how you value yourself, and how you want to be valued. And so this could really be kind of creating a bit of a little chaotic soup there, if you will, for people to be tapping into. So, what I've really just been doing is recognizing whatever it is that is coming up, and I'm not hanging on to it, because that's super important, guys, especially if it's not yours, because with us being so open-hearted, that is how we are intended to be as a species. We were intended to be incredibly, empathic, and to be able to feel others' perspectives, and to be able to this is because it's the best way to be able to relate to somebody. It's the best way to be able to really fully understand someone is by being, in that same moment as they're standing in. And not for us to keep it. It's not for us to take it on. But as we open our hearts more and more, this is what is being facilitated too, to make us, really more, or I should say to align us more with unconditional love and unity above all. So it's important for you to acknowledge whatever is coming up. Really look at it, because that's what it's doing when it comes up to the surface of your emotions or your thoughts. It's an opportunity for you to look at it as though those emotions or thoughts are your mirror. And then, kind of have your conversation with it. Hold space for it for a moment if you need to, but then let it go. Because that is just an experience that you are meant to have in order to help you transform, in order to help you grow. But recognizing that this is no longer needed. Now, if it's on the other side where you're just feeling so happy and so overwhelmingly loving, then give that out, share that. Because the same way that those heavier, denser emotions can affect change and affect the environment around you, so too can your love light, right? So you can affect the room and the energy around you. So just holding that love, in your heart. So that's really what I've been noticing. More so than anything, I'm really strongly aligned with planet Venus. So, and most of you already know this, a lot of the work that I do is Venus aligned. So that in itself has been making for really interesting, because with this Venus retrograde, the way that it's aligning is, as I talked about before, was with Pluto. Again, I don't want to go into the whole spiel of it because I'll get away from what I want to talk about, but again, tune into last week's Moon Day and the replay if you want to know more about that. But just in a really quick rundown, what this is facilitating is the reflection. All retrogrades really do bring for an opportunity of reflection. To really look into whatever is coming up to enable us to decide what is serving us, what is serving where we want to be going, and what isn't, so that we can let that go and move more into the self. We're coming more into the core of who we really are, our true light, shedding away those layers of conditioning, programming, wounding, or experiences that have really kept us in this illusion of limitation. So rising more into ourselves and rising more into love and togetherness above all. So really potent stuff going on. With that said, this week, the spirits, I should say this month, but really this week alone, we are experiencing, the magic of love and of compassion, kindness, and giving and caring as we move into this holiday week. It doesn't matter if you celebrate this holiday or not. It's the energetic current that we are all really kind of tapping into, if you will. So today is the solstice eve or Yule eve. So tomorrow was celebrated as it is the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere. Again, the summer solstice in the southern hemisphere. And really what that means, at least for the winter, I'll do that first because that's where I am. The winter solstice. Hey, Cindy, welcome. Hi, Ashley, welcome. Thanks for being here. So the winter solstice, it's where it's literally celebrated as the shortest day of the year. And the reason is because since the summer solstice back in June, we have actually been growing and increasing in darkness. And what I mean by that is the amount of daylight. So there has been less and less daylight, and all it's getting dark at 4 o'clock over here in New Jersey. So, we recognize that it is getting darker earlier, which means there is least amount of daylight throughout the day. So the light decreases and the darkness increases all the way up until the winter solstice, and vice versa for those of you in the southern hemisphere with the summer solstice. So you have been building and increasing in light and getting ready to move into that crossing the threshold where the daylight becomes less and less. Whereas for us, after the solstice tomorrow, the daylight will become more and more. So either way, at this time, it is a celebration of light, an increase in light. But I talked about last week how I was seeing that as a return to life. And as we know, this is celebrated at the time of the birth of the sun god, the birth of the son of God, depending upon what you believe in. But many different cultures, even back to ancient Egypt, celebrated the birth of the sun, which was essentially the return of the light at this time. This could also be understood as the Christed light or Christ consciousness, having nothing to do with religion, but everything to do with unification, that alchemical marriage within yourself. So bringing in this divine union within yourself, between your light and dark, between your feminine, your masculine, between higher mind, lower mind, all this opportunity to come into more opportunity to awaken to your wholeness, because we all already are whole. I know we do a lot of work trying to get to wholeness, but essentially we all already are. But there's a lot of, programming, conditioning that has that wounding, kind of clouding our vision, that makes us feel less than whole and focused on lack. This is really it's like the cogs on a wheel moving, or even on a massive clock, which is what the sunlight really is, moving us more and more into alignment of our divinity and the truth and who we really are, which is love and the light, right? So this is just really a time of, new beginnings and the rebirth of you. So it is the return of light within, again, no matter where you are in the world. And you can really look into taking some time in reflection as to how it feels. One thing that I always kind of see in my mind when I think about, our inner light and the solstice is, what it feels like to be in a dark room void of any light, and then suddenly have someone light a candle and see that light and see how it just casts this glow, this radiance all around you. How things begin to come to vision, how you begin to perceive things that you may have thought were there, but really aren't there anymore. Think of when we were little kids and we are afraid of the dark, and we want to sleep with the light on. And when you have that light on, it's ordinary, right? Or even better than ordinary. The possibilities are endless, the potential, right? But when that light is off, we start to go into the mind, and we start to allow the mind to run away with us, and we start to perceive all of these, scary things, these difficult things, these challenging things. We start to create all of this darkness, right? But the darkness really was never there. There was only light. There only ever was light. So what I'm saying to you is turning your light on now. And I think it's a great opportunity for us all to, if time allowing, but again, really what is time, but also an illusion, to really make yourself a priority. Whether you can do that tonight or tomorrow, kind of light a candle, sit in a dark room, light a candle, and allow that to represent yourself, your light, your heart, and really tune into that flame, really tune into your heart, and sit with a notebook and think about all of the things that have been perceived as limitation, about what you can do, about who you are, about where you want to go, and really allow that light to shine in areas to set the course of action as we're getting ready to birth a new year. Really what you want that year to look like, and really what you want the new you, the true you, to look like. So it's a great opportunity to do that. Again, we've also got the, Christmas on the weekend coming up. And it's just this time, it just brings about this magic, right, of joy, and maybe not for everybody. So, this is where the love light comes in, guys. Not everybody is able to experience this time of year the same way that we might be, or that you might be, or that I might be. So, not to take away from your light, because there's no reason why you still can't experience the joy and share that joy in any way possible. But just, so important to be mindful that there are those that aren't able to see beyond their challenges and their struggles at this time, that could use a little candle in the darkness. So whatever way possible for you to be able to be that. It's beautiful. But I feel like this is always a return to our inner child, and being able to remember what it felt like as a child at this time of year. As adults, there's this horrible conception that we're supposed to be very serious all the time. That we're supposed to, be adults, right? But says who? What is wrong with you allowing yourself to experience life, not just this week, all life, through the joy of your inner child, of your heart space, fully alive, fully open and in love with life? Who says? So why not get your silly reindeer pajamas on and, get excited about eating sugar cookies and making hot cocoa. And it doesn't matter if you have kids, you don't have kids, if you have anybody to celebrate with, it doesn't matter. Have fun. Our inner child is the key to joy. It's the key to liberation. A lot of things that we experienced as children shape our reality as adults. And so why is it only that the difficult, challenging experiences as children are what seem to be the ones that run the show as adults? Why can't it be the magic of climbing trees, of playing out in the snow and building snowman and sliding down hills? Why can't it be that shapes our reality? Because our inner children are where the love is. So do you remember all the times that, you would look at a child and they seem so young, they seem so inexperienced, and suddenly they'll say the most profound, most wise things from the mouth of babes, right? Because they know what it is to really mean, to be in the true spirit of love. And that should be what we all seek or aspire to be. And this is a beautiful opportunity at the same time to bring healing to your inner child and allow yourself to play. Allow yourself to be fun. Go out and, drop off hot cocoa on your neighbor's porches. Do something completely out of the ordinary for you, but so fun and so loving, because you just want to share that love. You just want to share the magic, right? So I'm absolutely going to do that. So all my neighbors, Laura, where are you? Tune in. You get some marshmallow magic. So, and giving. And it doesn't have to be of monetary means, guys. You don't have to be, sitting there with a big old fat bank account to be able to experience the joy and the magic of Christmas or of this time of year, of the solstice, of the return of our light. You don't have to have money to do that. It's the simple things. Think outside of this limited box that really doesn't exist. Think outside of that. Get creative. Make some magic for, everybody this year, even for yourself, most importantly. Okay? So I hope that you all enjoy this forecast because I really feel like it's so important to return to that youthful spirit. And, obviously, everything is about ebb and flow. Everything is about balance. So, yes, you be serious when you need to be serious, when it's important to be. I think it's just really important to remember that life is not meant to be so serious. It's not meant to be so heavy. And we absolutely have a choice as to whether or not we'll see it through the eyes of love and light, or are we going to see it through density and heaviness? It is your choice. Okay. All right, my loves. Hope you enjoyed that. Hi, Meredith. Hi, Teresa. I'm going to go ahead and catch up real quick. Carmela, welcome. Flo, welcome. Okay, I think I didn't miss too much. Teresa says, this is crazy. My husband and I spent the night picking out old childhood movies for a playlist. No way. Look at you feeling that ebb and flow. I love it. Right there on that. Yeah, that wave. Oh, Laura, good. I love that. Thank you. Meredith says, I was just reading on Rhodochrosite, and it was talking about the inner child synchronization. Look at that, Always synchronization with us, isn't it, though? Love that. And thank you for sharing that, because if you are somebody who might be struggling with embracing your inner child and if there is, and the reason why, guys, and I don't want to say it's like you're just because you're a Grinch and you want to run around and be grumpy all day. No, I don't think anybody wants to be grumpy on purpose. I mean, okay, maybe, but I don't really think, I think it does come from a place of perceived woundedness and heartache. And it has to do with it's funny because the Grinch is all about his heart being so small, right? And at the very end of it, when they're all singing, regardless if he stole their gifts that, and tried to make them as miserable as he was, it wasn't about the gifts. It was about the love, and it was about that unity and celebration anyway. And so when he heard that, his heart grew. You all know the story. His heart grew so much bigger. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly the message. Is our hearts have, if you could see them in as their love light, being really, really small based upon those situations that we may have experienced that we have taken to heart and literally have placed guards and blocks around our ability to freely give love and to freely receive love, to freely be open and vulnerable and trusting. And so we have kind of shut those down. But the more that we do these things, where we allow ourselves to have fun, where we allow ourselves to play, the more this opens our heart up, the more that we give to others freely, the more it opens our heart up, right? So however you give it does not have to be anything physical at all or monetary. But the more that you give love, the more that it is returned to you, and the more that your heart and your love light shines and radiates. Okay? So, for those of you who may have been struggling, or are, or know people who are struggling, perhaps a gift this holiday of Rhodochrosite would be an absolutely wonderful gift to give. Rhodochrosite also works with acceptance of self and self-love. So, absolutely perfect. Excuse me. We all know what happens, why that happens. Communication. So most of you know this because it almost happens on every moon day, where I go into a coughing fit because Spirit is bringing awareness to my throat chakra, which has to do with communication or expressing yourself. So clearly Spirit wants me to share this message, which has to do with the way that we also can give love, the way that we can also share of our love is by communicating love. By the way that we speak to others, by the way that we share our hearts, to be more open with the way that we express ourselves, to be more open in the way that we communicate who we are, perhaps even what we might feel for others, or what we might be feeling within ourselves. So it's really important, Spirit is emphasizing us to express this love through our throat. Sorry, I'm just listening. Because a lot of us, we hold it in, we choke it back, is what I hear. Choke it back. And that is because it's too vulnerable to speak our truth. Because of outside judgments, fear of rejection, abandonment, or to be vulnerable is to be perceived as weak. So we actually poison ourselves by swallowing it back and choking it back and not sharing it. We also shut our hearts down when we don't communicate what we want to say. So even if it's something that's difficult, it's, there's always a way that when you sit in that quiet contemplation and reflection and ask your higher self, your divine self, for the right words, the most compassionate words, or the way that you can approach the situation, to give you that courageousness needed to be able to speak up, to open and trust others, to be vulnerable. Ask and you shall receive. But I think it's, again, a really beautiful message about us expressing more of our hearts and how we feel, because oftentimes in this world, that's kind of taboo, right? But that causes a lot more problems than there needs to be if we only just said what we felt. Okay? All right. Thank you, Spirit, for making me have a choking fit in order to share that. With that said, hi, Nicole. Hi, Bobby. Welcome. Thanks for being here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the Moon Day message, if I really haven't already shared it for the week, because I feel like I have. Okay. Oh, thank you, Nicole. I'm so happy that it resonates with you. So, with this magical season, I was gifted by some very beautiful sisters of mine, some new magics. So one of those new magics was a new deck, and it is the it's hard to see it, spell casting oracle cards. There we go. And this deck is by Flavia Kate Peters and Barbara Mickle-Johnfrey. But if any of you follow a page on Facebook who I absolutely adore, I follow her page all the time, share all of her posts. Her name is, the name of the page is She Who Is. Her actual name is Lisbeth Cheever Guessman, and she does all of the artwork. So you may have seen her work through some of the postings, maybe through some stuff that I have shared, but she did all the artwork for these cards. So these are beautiful. So I'm working with that deck this week. All right, so I'm just going to have you all just come into sacred space with me now, and just close your eyes and just take a nice deep breath in. And just allow yourself to detach from the chaos of the day, from any thoughts, any worry, any stress, any tension in your body, and take another deep breath in. And release. Practice dropping from your mind and drop into your heart space. Just allowing yourself to feel instead of think. All right. Hi, Angel. Welcome, gorgeous. You are in divine timing. I'm just about to pull the Oracle card. So we are asking for a message of guidance and insight for the week of December 20th, 2021 for the collective good. If we can get there. Thank you. Ooh, all right. This is interesting considering this week. These cards are not numbered, so we don't have any numerology really coming forward to work with it, but the card, I'll show you the card and then I'll connect more into it. It's financial health. Look at that. So there is so much magic going on in this card. And I just want to say this is so new. I literally just got these 2 days ago, so I haven't been working too much with them. So I really want to connect into. So I just love the way that the tree is kind of bent and crooked, and it almost looks to me like there's more. It really looks like, first of all, a bonsai tree to me. But looks like there's more than one tree, actually, if you will, or that the tree itself has split and kind of maneuvered. But at the same time, it essentially all kind of comes back into one. So that in itself is a really big message about things being woven together in a way that ultimately brings divine balance into our lives, into ourselves, or within us even. So with the financial health being the bulk of this message, I really kind of touched on this just a minute ago, is that, when we think in terms of this time of year, there is this disgusting program that has come about this time of year that has been very much commercialized. So it is very about what you can get and how much you can get. And I know, because I was part of that, before I kind of started to wake up a little bit, where it's like, I got so many presents for my kids this year, so next year I've got to top that, or you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, if you spent all this money on 3 big gifts, all they're going to see is 3 gifts under the tree, and that looks really bad, right? That is the craziest thing that I've ever heard, because what are we teaching, right? So financial health means to me that it's the state of our finances being in the forefront. And I feel like it's about our perception of financial health. That, we really feel like in this week, a lot of pressure can be on us all about the amount of money needed to achieve a sense of joy, which couldn't be further from the truth, because there is no amount of money that can ever achieve a state of joy. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm sure there's some of you that are going to sit there and say, oh, that's not true, because if I had $5 million, yeah, you could buy things that might temporarily bring you joy. But at the end of the day, those things are not joy. Joy comes from within, right? And money is just a means of exchange, okay? Money itself is not joy. So it's about us recognizing this week that there are things that are more important in life than money, and how much money is needed in order to achieve joy. There's no money needed whatsoever to achieve joy. Okay? So the state of your financial health, 1, I feel like there was another message that I got immediately with this, but I didn't want to say that message right away, because I feel like it is dependent upon me sharing this message about what we perceive to be financially successful, or how we perceive lack versus blessed or blessings. Let this be the turn of events. Let this be the turn of the tide, where you don't have to go above and beyond financially if you go above and beyond with love, and you go above and beyond with what you can share of yourself with others. Yeah, it's going to be different initially, especially for young kids who have already kind of started being programmed into, and I'm not saying you can't go out and buy stuff. I'm saying don't go to a crazy extent that you are putting yourself in a difficult place, or that you might be stressed because you don't have enough to make things work. You will always have exactly what you need. It really depends upon how you perceive, you see. So if you're perceiving that this is what it takes, that money and financial means are what it takes in order to make joy, you're always going to chase joy, which means you're never going to attain it. But if you are understanding that it's joy that comes first, and then all abundance flows, then that is what will happen. You see what I'm saying? So your financial blessings, they come in almost like on the tail of you being completely, I should say, breaking the chains of that old, distorted program that is the dependence upon money for happiness. Okay, does that make sense? So the financial health, to me in the card when I looked at it, it was a blessing of abundance coming your way, coming our way. Abundance does not have to be financially, but I do feel like there is some financial prosperity coming in for us all, dependent upon how we perceive what true joy really is. And this is really a great message to come forward at this time when Venus goes retrograde, because Venus does also rule over our finances and also rules over what we value and what we love. And again, there's that old saying, when the love of power, or the love of power versus the power of love, that is when we'll be able to really move mountains and we enter into this age of Aquarius. So it's exactly that. So allowing ourselves to really fully see the blessings that we already have, the blessings and what we value as a blessing to begin with, what we love, and how we share our love. Again, it does not, it almost reminds me of like love language, So it's a lot, whereas, my husband with his love language is very much like expressing through physical gifts, like I show you how much I love by what I bought for you, or, how much money that I have, or how, what I contribute financially. Whereas my love language is very much like, I show you what I love by, how much affection I show you, or how much time I spend with you, or, what I do, and things like that. So it gives me kind of that vibe, but not about relationships as much as it is about our relationship with money, and allowing ourselves to break those binds, those chains that we have all worn for way too long, coming into the true joy that has nothing to do with money, then opens the door to blessings of all kinds. Okay? At the very top of this tree, what really stood out to me was this little blue, this little blue bird. And again, we had that throat chakra going on there, which to me, birds are always messengers of spirit. And so they are a divine messenger coming in with some sort of assistance. But also the blue does, and again, you see my throat doing something funny. So spirit bringing more awareness back to the throat chakra, which is how we communicate our needs and what we need. And again, how we express our love does not need to be with money. So that's just really what it's coming back to, is expressing your love, not with money. I hope that makes sense. And again, it's okay, you know, if you want to do it and you have it to do it, okay. But again, it's about the energy you're attaching to it. And that if you don't have it to do it, don't put yourself in debt and break your bank or break, you know, yourself and your spirit, because this is about raising your spirit to achieve these ridiculous standards. All right? Teresa says, my cousin Crystal used to call me Bluebird. Oh, wow. Oh, that's so cute. I love that. So yeah, so Spirit's sending in this beautiful blessing that's coming all of our ways. We're all going to receive those blessings. We are already blessed. However, what sort of blessings, again, will have to do with the way that you perceive. Do you perceive lack? What is your relationship with money? It's a really important one to ask yourself this week too. Okay. All right, so I hope that message was clear. I hope I got it across, as it feels like it really kind of went into what the other messages were as well. And yeah, so it's going to be really interesting to see how all of this unfolds. All right, and it's interesting too because there is a rainbow in the card. And we all know what's waiting at the end of the rainbow, don't we? All right. Okay, with that said, we're going to go ahead and move into the mudra, and then after that, I'm going to go ahead and get into the giveaways, okay? So, let me get my mudra deck. So I like to work with mudras every week because mudras are a very ancient and powerful tool for healing. Not only for healing, they're also about our spiritual growth and consciousness expansion. So they're very powerful and ancient tools used by many, many different cultures, actually, many different areas of the world, and they're still so broadly used today. So I work with a deck called Mudras for Awakening the Five Elements by Alison De Nicola. Okay. And I like to work with this because it's a really great way to understand how to work with mudras and to learn the different mudras that are there. So for those of you who love mudras but don't really have any ideas, you know, when you're talking about mudras and you're talking about, like, you know, the different, like, Hindu and ways to work with, you know, spirituality and their different beliefs, it could be a little overwhelming and complex at first. So working with these are actually really beneficial and, like, kind of like openers, if you will. So mudras themselves, the word itself is Sanskrit and it translates into seal. These mudras are formed, seals are formed with our hands. And we actually do a lot of them unconsciously all the time and are not aware of it, because we actually have chakras within our palms, and our fingertips are connected into the five elements, which act as activators, if you will. So as we activate these seals, the seals are linked into our energy centers known as our chakras. Each of our chakras are linked into our four main bodies, and each of our chakras do rule over a different aspect of those bodies. So some mudras actually work with more than one chakra at a time. So while working with one mudra, you could be facilitating healing, growth, and expansion in all of your chakras, in all of your energy bodies, all at once. But again, some mudras are connected only into one chakra. Just really depends. So I do this because it gives us a way to really work with the energy coming forward this week instead of just hearing about it. So, okay, so you heard me tell you these things, but, like, how do I make this happen within myself, right? How do I let go of lack? Well, now we're going to be asking for a mudra to facilitate what most needs to come forward for this week, okay? I'll pull the mudra and then we will work with it together. So I'll show you how to do it. And then I'll post it on my page so you can go over and save it to your phone. Work with that mudra all week long. It's only going to facilitate more and more of that growth that needs to occur within. Okay. All right. So let's see. Hey, Mom. Welcome. Skittles. What are you talking about? You got Skittles? You got some candies for me? I know you got some cookies for me, though. Oh, you're so welcome, Ashley. All right, let me stop talking about candies and cookies while I'm doing our Mudra shuffle here, because it's going to be like, stop with your sugar addiction is going to be the Mudra that comes forward. All right, let me breathe. What Mudra comes forward for the collective good for the week of December 20th, 2021? Look at that. Look at that. It's like I'm an oracle. The mudra is the Chinmaya mudra, and it translates to trust. What do we talk about with our hearts? Trust, right? Grow those Grinch hearts. So big, right? So it assists with security, support, and trust. It reduces anxiety and blood pressure as well, supports the muscular skeletal system, cultivates a sense of trust and support, helps to facilitate optimal elimination. Look at that. Hi, Shanu. Hi, Eileen. Welcome. You are just in time for the mudra. As obviously you see, I just pulled it. But there was a really powerful message that came forward with the oracle card as well as the energy forecast. So definitely catch those back on the replay when you can. Okay. Thanks for being here. So this is linked into the element of earth, which is beautiful because it talks about how we are able to, it's one thing to, say to trust more, to want to be open more, but it's also about how we are then anchoring that trust within us and within our reality, anchoring that into earth, literally like stabilizing. And again, that support. So we're going to do this together. There is no caution with this one, so everybody is free to work with it. Looks fairly simple. All you do is touch the index finger and the thumbs on each hand. So you're going to do this on both your hands. You're going to curl the middle ring and pinky fingers into the palms, making soft fists with each hand. And then you're going to rest your hands on your thighs face down. Okay, so you're just, sorry, because, my fingers are so little. So really it's like you're doing this and then you just curl all these in. Okay, so do that with both. My goodness, my rings. And then just place your hands on your lap face down. Close your eyes and take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And release. Once again, deep breath in. And release. One more time, deep breath in. And release. And you can state, I rest in the knowledge of truth, trust, and support. I rest in the knowledge of truth, trust, and support. I rest in the knowledge of truth, trust, and support. And so it is. And you can open your eyes. All right. So you can work with this mudra all week long. As I said, I'm going to post this on my page. Save it to your phone. Literally takes 3 minutes. But if you'd like to challenge yourself, you can do this with increasing the breaths that you do along with the mudra. So increasing them in increments of 3s. So today you did 3 breaths. Tomorrow maybe you'll work with 6, 9, so on and so forth. Okay? Chinmaya mudra. Love that. And also, if you want to tune into the comments, beautiful Angie Walters of Crystal Essence Healing, my beautiful soul sisters, when she does get the chance to catch the replay, she loves to share her insight and information and more knowledge into the mudras and how they really can assist us, different chants and mantras that go along with them as well, as she does work with these much more intricately than I do. So we thank you in advance, Angie. We appreciate and love you. So once again, she'll leave them in the comments then. All right. All right. So with that said, we're going to go into the giveaways. Okay. So those of you who were here last week, you saw how this works. For those of you who were not, I'm going to go over it again. So 'tis the season of giving and love. So I'm going to share some love with all of you by giving away a few of my services. Now, these services are not to be able to be redeemed, though, until after the new year because of how booked I am right now at this time. So I will actually be reaching out to you and messaging you about scheduling whatever service it is that you choose if you do win. I'm actually going to be doing this 2 or 3 times today. And I'll just go over, firstly, what I'm going to be giving away. So let me just get my notebook here. And where did I write them down? Oh, great. It was probably my other notebook. Okay. Well, I'll just tell you because I know off the top of my head. I'm going to be giving away a 30-minute Oracle guidance reading. So this is going to be utilizing both Oracle cards, my own intuitive abilities. So these, again, are guidance readings. They can be done either through a live video chat or they could be done through a video recorded reading that I will send over to you. So it will be your choice if you choose that option. You can, with an Oracle guidance reading, you pretty much ask almost anything. Again, as these are not fortune tellings, these are guidance and insight from your higher self, as I do connect in with your higher self to receive this insight for you as to the best possible direction, insight, or even some healing that needs to come forward regarding readings. So you pretty much ask about any particular area in your life. I will always assist you in forming the question if you have a difficult time with what, with one, be it love, career, direction, spiritual stuff, work, you name it. Okay. Also, if you don't know, you can always ask your higher self what it is that I most need to know at this time. Okay. So there's that. I'm also going to be giving away one of my Blue Rose healing sessions. So the Blue Rose healing sessions, it is a light technology, basically, from planet Venus, as well as Pleiades. And what happens is I basically bring forward or channel in this Blue Rose healing, as I am actually attuned to the Blue Rose frequency. I bring in this healing to channel it and transfer it, if you will, to you for what it is that you most need. Mostly people who choose the Blue Rose healing are very divinely aligned with the Blue Rose already. And this is something that they've almost, like, it's like what they're waiting for and what they've been ready for. They haven't been ready for up until this point in time. So the Blue Rose is really about our sovereignty and empowerment. Really helps us to come more into our sovereign, divine, royal selves, helping us to break chains and binds that may have kept us from being able to step into our power, to express our truth, to really be who we're meant to be here. It also helps to bring in a divine alignment with your soul plan or your life purpose. So it's a very powerful session. This session does happen through live Zoom call. So I do also record it and I share that audio with you for you to listen back if you so choose to. So this is something, again, that would have to be scheduled, and we would do that through that Zoom video call. Okay, so there's that. That does take about an hour. It's about an hour-long session. Also, we have the Aurora Light Healing, which is my main, probably most common, most popular healing session that I offer. So Aurora Light Healing can be done in person as well as can be done remotely. So it doesn't matter where you're at in the world, or if you are local and you prefer in person, this you can do in person. It is a basic combination of Reiki energy healing, sound healing, light language, crystal healing. And I do also work with a team of angels and ascended masters or light beings that wish to come forward to assist you. What this is good for is everything that Reiki would assist you with, which is stress relief, energy clearing in your energy bodies as well as within your chakras, but it also helps to not only shift old patternings, whether they be thoughts, whether they be karmic, whether they be ancestral. It also helps to break down those patternings, kind of like a demolition phase, where it goes in, clears them out, allows for the natural healing of either your own body or your own energy body to do on its own. And then it helps to shift you up and activate you, moving you into a divine alignment of where you're meant to be going on your path. So they're very powerful healings and activations, okay? Those can take anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, depending whether it's in person or remote, okay? So that's an option. And then the final option is my regular light transmission. So I know sometimes it gets to be a little tricky as to what's the difference between them all. They all have bits and pieces of all really in them. But the light transmission is something that would happen, again, through a live video call, and it can be recorded for you to listen back later. But this is really, it's kind of like a blending of a light activation and an oracle card reading. So what happens is I allow you to come in and share anything that you might be experiencing at this time, whether it be something that you're struggling with, something that you're trying to achieve, anything that you might be feeling emotionally, something that you're really ready to just let go at this time, or just feel like, even like if you're feeling stuck. This really helps to kind of give you that kick and push up, if you will, through this activation of light codes via light language that comes through me. But I also, prior to doing the light language, we do pull some cards to get a little bit of divine guidance and insight into what else that you could do to keep this going. Because it's one thing to work with me and have me facilitate this session and this work, but it's another thing for you to continue to maintain it. So that guidance comes in to kind of give that bit of insight as to what you need. Those sessions are about an hour long as well. So light transmission, Aurora light healing, blue rose healing session, or oracle guidance reading. Okay, those are going to be your options. All right, so how this is going to work is it's going to be it's basically telepathic games. So I'm going to think of something. I'll tell you what the theme is. When I think of that, I'm actually going to ask you all to take a second and try to connect as I project it to you all. When I say go and not before, the first person who comments on my screen, as I know Facebook does show it in different orders upon different screens, but the first person that I see on my screen that answered correctly is going to be the winner. Okay? Is everybody clear on the instructions, or does anybody want me to repeat it again? Oh, Laura, thank you for saying that, sweetheart. I greatly appreciate you being here, and I'm so happy that it resonates with you. All right. Okay, Ashley. So how it works is I'm going to do, it's basically like utilizing and activating everybody's telepathy. Okay, so we're going to use telepathy in order to, good Jillian, that's a good idea actually, in order to send this information out, I'm going to use telepathy. So how we're going to do this is I'm going to take a theme. For example, like Jillian just said, crystals, right? Take a theme and I'm going to tell you, okay, let's say crystals. I'm thinking of a crystal. First person to comment the right crystal that I'm thinking is going to be the winner. But I will tell you when to say go. Jillian. So does that make sense? But the thing is, it's not a guessing game. Because you can guess all day and maybe you'll get it lucky. But it's really about you using your own abilities to telepathically receive. It's kind of just makes it fun. So I'm going to have you all close your eyes. And I'll have you focus so that you can envision or whatever thought pops into your head based upon the theme I share. Okay? All right. So the first theme is actually going to be Christmas symbols. Okay? So what I mean by that, and do not do it yet, What I mean by that is all things that you would see in Christmas, you know, so whatever symbol is. So, like, I don't know, snowflakes, stockings, trumpets, angels, stars, snowmen, Santa, Christmas trees. You get it? So, that's going to be our first theme, everybody. So, get ready. Close your eyes and take a moment and be open to receive as I send out the first symbol. Let yourself receive. Go. Keep going. Wow, nobody got it yet. There's some good ones, though. No one's gotten it yet. I feel like I should play some Christmas music. Wow. This must be a hard one. Not yet. Nope, go fish. Wow. This is funny. I didn't think this was, I actually thought that I was picking an easy one. I'm going to try to keep sending it, okay? My goodness, should I give a hint? All right, I'm gonna drop a hint. Okay, so never mind, Dawn Lance, you just won. It was a stocking. You got it. Yay! Congratulations. And thank you, everybody else, for participating as well. We are going to do this again. Woo! I made you work for that one. So, Dawn, my dear, what would you like to choose as your prize? Also, if you don't want to choose right now and you want to think about it, you could do that too. I probably should have said that. You could take your time and think about it, and then you can message me if you want. Up to you. Oh, awesome. All right, then. Good choice. So I'll be reaching out to you then to schedule that because, yeah, I assume we're going to be doing this remotely with you, right? I know, I know. Some good choices. How do you choose? Oh my God, Nicole. That's funny. What I love about this too is that it's also it's an opportunity to see how, you know, your higher self communicates with you. You know, so like for example, you're not getting the stockings, but you're getting everything associated with the stockings. So it's almost like you know your higher self is what's that one? It's almost like charades. You know, it's like candy cane, candy, everything getting in associated with it. It's funny. Oh boy. All right, are we ready to do it again? You ready to go? So we're gonna do this time. I'm going to use Jillian's suggestion. And I'm going to try to keep this simple. I mean, I am going to do crystals. However, I'm not going to get super complex because yeah, we could be here for days. All right. I'm not going to get super complex. I'm going to try to keep it relatively common names. Okay. So have everybody close your eyes and just focus. Allow yourself to come into a completely empty space. And go. Oh, wow, already. All right, we got it. Ashley Nicole, Amethyst it was. You got it. I actually thought, oh man, this is going to be so easy. See what's going on all behind me here. All right, so Ashley Nicole, Amethyst it is. So, what would you like to choose as your prize? So interesting, because if it wasn't amethyst, it was actually going to be rose quartz, Laura. Take your time and think about it. If you want me to send you the options again, I absolutely can. I can also send you the link to my website so you can look over them and better choose from there. Okay, well, congratulations. Hey. All right. Last week, oh my goodness, it was like the same, same two, getting them one after another, right? Okay, we're going to do it one more time. And let me see, do I want to stick with the same themes or do I want to do something different? We're going to do something different. We are going to do, okay, I will do. Thanks, sweetheart. Okay. Let me just give myself a note. Send link. Okay. So we are going to be doing... I know, it was so obvious. I thought, I thought it's so obvious, nobody's going to get it because it's too obvious, but they did. All right. So with that said, we're going to go into the last one, and it is going to be color. Okay. So this one I'm going to try to make it it's going to be a little bit more complex. So it's not going to be just your traditional. So it could be a traditional color, but I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to kind of broaden it. So it's not going to be just like a traditional. Okay. So with that said, I'm going to have everybody close their eyes. Take a breath in. Bring yourself into that empty space. And go. Some of you are real close. Not yet. Not yet. Oh, we have a winner. We do have a winner. So, Dawn Lance, it was lavender. So you did get it. However, since you already won, I'm going to allow you to choose a color. You choose a color, you comment with it, and I'm going to go back on my comments, and the first person who actually has that color is who I'm going to give it to. Make sense? Just so that we can make sure others also get it. Otherwise, I would also give it to you too. But Jillian, you got banned. It was color. Which color was it? And the color was lavender. Okay, so you said purple, Dawn. Awesome. Let me see who the first person was that said purple. Ooh, Ashley Nicole, you were close with Violet. Teresa Mederick, it was you, my love. First person to say purple. All right, Dawn, thank you so much for graciously gifting that away. I appreciate you doing that. So, Teresa, lovely. What would you like to receive? Or would you like to think about it? Oh, good, Laura. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. You know me. I'm all about letting my inner child play. So. Are you thinking? Oh, awesome, Flo. Awesome. Okay, not a problem, Tressa. Just let me know, send me a message, and yeah, and Flo, you also have to let me know too. And then this way we can go ahead and get them scheduled after the new year. All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here, for tuning into this week's Moon Day message. Even those of you who are tuning into the replay as well, thank you all so very much. I hope that you enjoyed it. So much love and blessings to you, and I hope that you have a blessed Yule, winter solstice, blessed Litha, and summer solstice for you, for all of you that are in the southern hemisphere. And Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll hopefully see you again next week. Bye-bye.